Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is Rabbit Roo and we are doing a replay cast from the ladder. Our game today is between Effort, who is spawned here in the top left, playing in Zerg, and he is playing against Bisu, who has spawned here in the bottom right of Radeon 1.2. So as mentioned, it's a ladder game, and we're not going to have too much time for formalities because Bisu has decided to do a pylon in the middle of the map in a PVZ. So in my attempts to now start casting professional games, assuming that they will just do professional things, this is what Bisu has decided he's going to be doing. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do a double nine gate in the middle of the map and see how that all plays out. So this is going to be a quick, cheesy cast. Is it going to be a compilation? Who knows? Alrighty. Well, this is all very intriguing. So we've been in the lab learning about how the ladder ID tag system works. As I'm getting back into the world of Starcraft Broodwar casting and particularly understanding what the interests of the community is, I think people do kind of really want to know who the players are. It's so close to the misses. So we have put in some effort to identify as many of the well-known Korean players' ladder aliases as we can. So from now on we will be casting games where both players are known the vast majority of the time. So this is the first time we have done that. We've also made a few overlays and some other things into our setup. So trying to become a little bit more, dare I say, professional in the way that we're doing it, even though we don't do this professionally, if that makes any sense. Alright, so a couple of lings have come out here. This is all very standard. This middle has not been scouted until now because the drones arrived after having gone here and gone, but hang on, you don't have a expansion. So the lings have found the center gates. One zealot's going to be here. One zealot's going to come up here with a probe. This drone's going to come here. Like, I'm really going to struggle to keep my eye on everything that's happening. Okay, so if it does throw down the sunken, and a decent amount of body blocking over here. Meanwhile, some lings are going to go in and arrest here. So this is going to be taxing the multitasking of the players. Okay, so that sunken is basically fended off a fair amount of zealots. So we're going to target down the hatchery. The center gates are still safe. He's got about 3 lings in the house here. So that's not too inconvenient. I don't really know how Bisu plays from here. This hatchery's in a bit of strife, and I think he's going to lose it. The lings are now going to put some pressure on the pylon, powering these gateways. No, they're not. They're going to run straight past. Okie dokie. We're making a hatchery in base. What a freaking chaotic game this has been. Holy cow. Okay, so bye-bye hatchery. Are we still not going to put any pressure on these gateways? It would appear no, we're not. Nobody's got time for that. Okay, well, we're making units. This hatchery's been left with 200 hit points, but we're kind of walling here. We have our sunken here. This hatch is almost done, so some lings are going to be in the house there. Okay, so sunken does go down, takes down a couple of lava. This is still safe. One zealot moves back here. So we'll kind of see what's happening. A couple more lings out here. So Bisu's multitasking, which is something that he is very well known for. He also discovers the hatchery, so nothing seems to be going right for effort here so far. A couple more lings have been created. It's going to be the second hatchery is lost within like 6 minutes in this game. I think it is. That's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Throwing a few lings here though, so he's going to break out of town here. But there's no saving this hatch, I don't think. Could well have a scenario where everything kind of just normalizes now. We'll have to see. I think he's going to have to put some pressure on these gateways and knock them down. Okay, so some more lings coming in. He's making a cannon. How do you even tell what the state of a game is like this? It's just nuts. Well, the lings are coming by. So he's decided to leave these gateways. Just kind of fight the zealots. That one's been fully surrounded, so his days are done. More lings here. Another surround on that one. Some decent trades for effort. Is finding his way back into this one. Going for gas. 11 drones versus 18 probes. 1 hatchery. He's not killing the sunken, I think presumably because of the mine pathing. He's expanding into his natural. There's like 7 zealots here. 8 if you include this one and this one. 9. So I reckon if he just, you know, emptied his house of zealots, that couldn't hurt. His main is now secured by this cannon in this little sim city, which I think is good. It's a lot of lings. Still just non-stop zealot versus ling. Might just have the numbers here to kill these zealots. He's just got more. Just got a freaking infinite supply of zealots, man. I don't think harassment's gonna help too much. Adding another cannon here for safety. What a weird ass game this has been. Ling's diving in again. Alright, well this is what I get for looking for pro games. You get the most typical ladder crap you ever hope to see. At least it's a low health. He's gonna get a Stargate. If it is getting a Hydrogen behind this, so that would be his counter to any Corsair pressure. Nice pick on the probe. Full control group of zealots is ready to roll. He only has lings to fight them with. And he's got 3 hatcheries, Hydrogen, but 11 drones only to power it. Problem for Bisu is that if he moves off this position, he loses these 2 gateways, and he doesn't have any other production. So more grief for effort, but he just doesn't have enough ling volume. Just constantly taxing the APM. So the Hydra upgrades are being done. Another Overlord is going to go down. Doing the full surround. I think effort's committing here. I just don't think he has the numbers though. Even more pain. That Overlord's gonna go down. Couple more Hydras though. He does lose a Corsair. Oh! He's abandoned his post here, and this pylon should be targeted down. Come on, it's so close. Oh, he's now surrounded the pylon to keep this alive. I don't know, like, does he need to do this? Surely he could just make a couple of gateways in his main and like sack this position. I also feel like if he just went across the map with all his edits, he could just go and kill effort, and that'd be the end of that. Okay, so this pylon does go down. That spot's gonna have to be re-established by probe coming across there, or just abandoned. He is making a gateway in his main now. Does decide to move in, but I think the Hydras definitely make a difference. And now suddenly the supplies are very close to each other. That was not a good trade for Bisu. He perhaps got a little bit too Bisu for his own good. And those are some pylons, and is establishing 2 more gateways, making workers. So I don't think we're going to see any attacks from Protoss. Does do a run by, maybe just to scout, I think. Yeah, it kind of does. Doesn't really get too much info. These are gonna knock down. And this damn Corsair is still harassing. A couple of Hydras in here though, we'll tidy this up. We're getting Lair. And I dare say this game is going to progress. It's not a cheese compilation, as has been the case some of the time for the games on the channel. This battle between 2 brilliant pros, what has been a very unconventional PVZ, will continue. I'm just taking the gas, getting leg upgrades, probably getting +1. Here we go. All the normal things are happening. And of course, effort being effort is just getting drones and layer tech and all of the upgrades for Hydras and just pretty normal stuff. This Ling has been doing all the work on his own. He must have really tired claws. He's got to like scratch this damn gateway over and over and over again. So Bisu will scout that effort's not taking a third. So I guess the tricky thing, there's a probe down here. Just the tricky thing with a game like this is everything has been thrown in terms of things like timing and what have you. So what do you do is the question. You kind of just follow your instincts, I guess. So Bisu does seem to be macroing up quite strongly. Sending out a few soon to be speed zealots with +1. I think he might go pressure the 3rd hatchery, yeah? Intuitively, that feels like a sensible move to me. Yep, here we go. There's only 1 Hydra here. A couple more coming in though. I think with these +1 and legs, he's going to have enough zealots here to do some damage. Another zealot comes in. Now, everything's split off a bit here, which might help. Because now, with the numbers not being consolidated, I hear a Corsair harassing somewhere. There it is. Now the Overlord goes down, feels like the 3rd one in the game so far. So Bisu just posturing, forcing units out of effort so he can't just drone relentlessly. He's making 3 sets of Lings and 3 Hydras behind this. DT showed up and there is no Overlord. Oh dear. Ooh, that's really good. Where is the... Where? Where? Oh, okay, there he is. So where's the Overlord? There he is. So Bisu taking a 3rd behind this. I think that's very smart. If it's not really in a position where he can attack right now. But if he can get himself another 12 or 15 drones, it's going to be a real challenge. But 3 bases is definitely the foundation that you want to build off. Getting up to a few gates now, so definitely getting some macro power in this game. Also get an observatory in case effort goes for lurkers. And yeah, looks like we're going to get layer tech versus the typical sort of ground composition. Storm probably going to enter the fray quite soon. Ranged goons. The whole works. Oh, Mutas! Hello! A very, very, very prolific unit in the world of Zerg versus Protoss nowadays. Sniping High Templars and just doing all sorts of damage. We'll track the rest of the army, which is headed here to harass Bisu's third. Oh, there's our first storm of the game. Second storm of the game. Pretty decent, that one, actually. I think he decided he'll have a look and he'll get the hell out of there. No worries. DT's going to try and go and harass here. There is a overlord, but nothing else. He's being tracked. I don't know if something spotted him along the way. It was Spotter Lord, perhaps. Gonna try and get himself a drone. He does. Gets himself a ling. Gets himself another ling. Another ling. And the Hydra should tie him up, not without him getting another drone and another drone. Oh, that was a very profitable DT. So some mutas have arrived. There are not many cannons in the main, but the ones that were have been kind of wrecked. So we missed that little bit of muta harassment. My bad. But very nicely done by effort. And he's still getting some value. I think the probes were pulled into the... Ooh, that was a nice storm. He bruised a lot of the remaining mutas there. And he also has an Archon and some goons. So I expect he may transfer some probes now back to the natural, to the main. The natural is pretty oversaturated. The third is nicely saturated, so I think we should get a little spread of probes from Bisu here. Yeah, I think he's just got it. Probably doesn't have to put too many. This is basically mined out anyway. So yeah, I think he's got the spread more or less, although this does seem pretty heavily saturated. I think the challenge will now be whether or not he should pursue a fourth base. So Muta's coming in again to try and get some more damage. Does have some Corsairs here. He's trying to pick off this High Templar. He does get it. And he does get another one. These snipes are very, very valuable. Really nice Muta micro from effort. More gateways on the way for Bisu finishing up. So the question will really be, at the moment, while it's 3 bases and 3 bases, you'd probably think that Protoss has the advantage. And if it has really had to play back from quite a deficit, but he's done well. No cannons or anything over here. This one might be in range though, and he has now fortified this position with some Corsairs and an Archon, Dragoons, so this is expected for sure. What's that? Zealot scouting around, okay. So he's prepared for this harassment. Nicely done. If you're BC, you want another base, and if you're effort, you want another base. So I think whoever establishes their 4th base sooner probably going to be the winner of the game. Ew. He's got a decent number. Oh, that was a great storm. Bruised a lot of those mutas. I think hitting mutas while they're running with storm is definitely a challenge. I think Bisu needs to move out, or is considering moving out, in order to facilitate taking another base. These lings have picked off this probe, and it looks like effort is going to sneakily try and expand here, although I think so. Effort, I don't know if I said effort. I meant to say effort. I'll sneakily try and expand here. I don't think he's necessarily Where's that coming from? He's just killing his own citadel. Because... why not? Bit random. So Bisu is trying to expand to a 4th, and that has been unceremoniously denied by these mutas. However, his entire army has basically waltzed unharassed straight to the front door here. And unless there's a surround, I think this fight is going to do some serious damage. Here come the mutas to help. They're going to have to pick off some observers, which is exactly what they do. Thwarting the attack while the lurkers are there. That really was a master block by effort. Got some Scourge patrolling here to block the expansion to the 4th. While he is taking a 4th himself that to date has not yet been scouted. Bisu is moving his army back down to this position where he was trying to establish his 4th. Perhaps he's going to keep it there because these mutas had a very good time. And here they come again. A soul... oh, okay. Strange. He may just keep his whole army here, throwing down a few cannons. He really does need to establish this base for sure. So the Zealot has scouted. This is now Effort's 4th. And I expect that's where his army will head once he's established his own base. Just need these cannons to come up, leaving a few Corsairs and Archons and things here will help. There's going to be a big convergence here. Uh-oh. So he has moved in. Corsairs joined the fight as well. Where is our observer? There it is. So he's cleared this deck here, and I think he's going to come up the ramp and put a somewhat sudden end to this base. It's a big moment in this game for sure. I think effort needing this base is really massive within the context of the game. So that's quite easy denied. Bisu himself is getting his own base up and running. Only has 3 cannons here and 1 High Templar. So potentially some counter harassment. If it has now attempted to expand to the top right and somewhat give up on this base, which I think is a good move. Probe transfer, trying to block, but just picking off more and more meters as he goes along. I think Bisu's managed to establish this base, and I think he's therefore got himself into a somewhat insurmountable lead. If he goes to deny space as well, then I think Zerg is in a world of pain. Mining pretty low here, nothing here. It's got that there, so he's setting up some lurkers to try and defend this position. The drone transfer will be a dead giveaway to Bisu that there is a hatchery somewhere to the right, and I think that's where he's now heading. His Zilla just scouted this position as well, so up he is going to head. Gonna have to wait for an observer. Some support would be good. Okay, so it does reposition his Zerka. 4 observers come in, that is plenty. They're going to successfully get up the ramp. I think he's going to try and pressure this position as a counter attack because he can't save the space. He knows that that's pretty much over. So there we go. Moves in with some Dark Swarm to try and pressure Bisu's 4th base. Pretty decent storm of his own. Bisu gets in. That was a little bit of a... oh no, there was a lurker there. I was going to say it was a bit of a whiff, but that was good. This is heaps and heaps and heaps of pressure. So that base in the top right corner has been destroyed of efforts, and his attempts to try and destroy Bisu's 4th are being pretty well held by our Protoss, I must say. 16 sets of Lings coming in. He's making 4 DTs and 4 Zealots himself in response to this is Bisu. And he's sending down a massive ball of Protoss army to defend this, so kind of held very well. Just perhaps doesn't have the critical mass he needs, and pretty devastating for effort to lose that top right base. Once again now trying to establish here on the bottom left, and once again Bisu is just constantly moving between these 2 positions to deny base establishment for effort, and I think he understands that That is, for all intents and purposes, his win condition. Does have his squadron of speedy observers to help him as well. Hasn't actually sent anything other than a single zealot to deny the space, but now that he's sent in there to see what's happening, I think he's going to do it again. Meanwhile, a counter from effort here with Lings. Lings against DTs, not going to be an effective combination for our Zerg. Pathing and some of the other challenges in getting these goons up here for sure. But there's just so much Protoss that it's not going to matter, unfortunately. So for what feels like the third time, this base gets denied. The Corsairs now spot this base as well. I reckon that's where Bisu's army is headed next. And that's pretty much the story of the game. Deny, counter, deny, counter, deny, counter, deny, hold, counter. It's been a pattern to what has turned out, after the ridiculous start, to be a very, very fun game. So are we going to get a drop here? What are we going to get? The Dark Swarm does come up. And the Plague, I heard the Plague noise, there it is. Just too much supply. I don't know how much of a valuable target this is. I guess the hatcheries make it worthwhile. I've always said with Zerg, if you can kill hatcheries, you're killing production power. We do hear a whole heap of observers dying, which means I expect once again lurkers are going to be the key to holding this position. There is still an observer left. We see him there, old Ollie the observer, coming through from the Nidus to reinforce. But this is just a lot of Protoss. He has got this base up and running, which is good. DTs get in here as well. And our Zerg is now below 75 supply. He's going to lose all these hatcheries here. It's not really going to matter that he's established that new base, because he's just going to lose so much production infrastructure here, so many drones. And I think that's going to be a win for our Protoss today. Pretty fun game from both players. Bisu with that very, very random start. I think he got himself well ahead, established, took a third base with very good timing. And Effort, I think, played his best game from behind that he could. But the constant base denial of this position and this position, which Bisu is now himself establishing, and using that critical mass now to basically eliminate 3 of his hatcheries and a lot of his tech, is going to be too strong and overwhelming from our Protoss. But that was a fun game. Thanks so much for joining in and watching it with me. If you enjoy the pro games, please do let me know who you would like me to feature next. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Take it easy.